The first half of our first season at Helsingborgs far exceeded expectations, and we were in with a chance of promotion at the first time of asking. But could we see it through? Let's go and have a look, shall we? Hello everyone, welcome to the channel on part 3 of my Build a Nation save in Sweden with Helsingborg. The first half of our first season was going absolutely brilliant. We were 4 points adrift of Landskrona at the top of the table at the halfway point of the season. But things took a little bit of a downturn. We couldn't sign any players through August because we didn't have any money for wages or transfer budget. The board said absolutely not when I asked them, so we were stuck with the players that we had, who were suffering from quite a bit of an injury crisis as well. We had a lot of players missing throughout the first couple of months of the second half of the season, and I think that may have accounted for our downturn in form. When we played Osters at home earlier on in the season, we beat them 2-1, and they returned the favour as we kicked off August with a defeat away. Mansberg gave Osters the lead in the 12th minute. Kamal Issa equalised early in the second half, but yet Jesper Westermark scored for them with 2 minutes remaining of normal time. We lost 2-1, Landskrona won, and we fell further behind our rivals in the quest for the title. It was a hard-fought point in the next game as we drew 3-3 at home to Östersunds, thanks mainly to Amar Musin's late equaliser. But we had now won just 2 games in 9. We may have only lost 3 games all season, but we were falling further behind Landskrona with the amount of draws we were having, and it wasn't really looking good. But we finally got back to winning ways in our next game, a 1-0 victory over Trelleborg, which was a lot nervier than it should have been. Pavle Vagic with the only goal of the game in the 77th minute. If you look at the match stats, they didn't have a shot on target the whole game. We were well ahead on XG, well ahead on the amount of chances, but as the game wore on, it looked like we were going to fail to score. In the end, Vagic's goal was the only goal of the game, and it was another 3 points towards our promotion push. A draw with Arebro and a 1-0 victory over Gaius came next, with Lucas Lima scoring 2 goals in 2 games to end a very, very long drought. We then beat IFK Eskilstuna in the cup in a very, very one-sided game, so August finished quite well, and we were still in with a chance of challenging Landskrona, even though we had fallen slightly further behind. But then September put paid to our title efforts as we won only 1 game of the month against relegation battlers Utsikten. We drew twice and we lost 3-1 away to Landskrona. That was our title hopes pretty much over and done with, but could we bounce back and still remain on course for that second automatic promotion spot? Well, the first game of the month was a home game against Västerås, and we were 1-0 down very, very early. Bad defending allowed Ribeiro to score the first goal of the game. We were behind in the 2nd minute, but we fought back. Kaihed made a run into the area, pulled it back to Ring. He was brought down. Looked like a penalty, wasn't a penalty, but Kamal Issa got on the end of it and put the ball in the back of the net. Bernardo Villa's corner was then met by Vagic, who headed into the back of the net again. It was 2-1. And then Alexander found Rogne, who put it over the top for Lima. He come past the goalkeeper and touched it into an empty net. 3-1, and we were cruising. Then Benjamin Aqua burst into the box and shot past a hapless goalkeeper. It was 4-1. It was a massive, massive victory for us, and it meant the table looked like this with 5 games to go. A trip to bottom of the table, Eskilstuna came next, and it couldn't have come soon enough. A brilliant finish from Lucas Lima put us 1-0 up in the 15th minute, and we were in charge of the game. A bit of a weird goal for the second one. Musin's corner was headed about, and then Bernardo Villa put his head forward, but it also looked like an own goal. It was 2-0. Regardless of who scored it, we had a 2-goal advantage, and we should go on to win it. Musin then got on the end of a Lopa cross, and it was 3-0, and it was another victory. Now, there were 4 games to go, and our next game was against Sundsvall in a massive promotion 6-pointer. If we could win, there would be 3 games left of the season, and we would have a 6-point gap over our 3rd place rivals, and be really, really in pole position for that second automatic promotion spot. It was a promotion 6-pointer, and we were 1-0 down just over half an hour into the game from the penalty spot. But Musin with a penalty of his own put us 1-1. And then it was 2-1. Vagic from outside the area found Aqua, who went back to Kaihed, who fired home, and it was 2-1. But then the 95th minute, Svanberg equalised. But he didn't. The goal was disallowed. We breathed a sigh of relief and the game finished. Helsingborg 2, Sundsvall 1. We had picked up a massive victory over our nearest rivals and the table now looked like this. So, with 3 games to go, we had a 6-point gap over third place and a far superior goal difference. Just one more victory was needed from our final 3 games to clinch promotion to the top flight at the first time of asking. Could we hold our nerve? Well, a trip to Gefle came next and Gefle had their own hopes for promotion. They had to win all 3 of their games and we lost ours. Well, Lundin put them 1-0 up very, very early into the game. 38 seconds in, we were 1-0 down. But we fought straight back. Lima found Musin, who burst from the last defender, put the ball into the back of the net and it was 1-1. But then we went down to 10 men after half an hour and just on the hour mark, it went from bad to worse. Aspgren fired past Jolson. It was 2-1 to Gefle. And we'd blown our chance of clinching promotion with a couple of games to go. We'd lost 2-1 and Gefle had now jumped up into third place. So, we've made it hard for ourselves and decided that we needed a little bit of squeaky bum time. We were on 53 points after 28 points. Sundsvall had leapfrogged Gefle back into third place, winning their game in hand 4-2. And they were on 50 points with 2 games to play. Really, it was only Sundsvall that could stop us. Even if we lost both of our games and Gefle won both of theirs, I still think they'd struggle to get the promotion spot. But Sundsvall play Landskrona next. Our rivals could do us a massive, massive favour and assist in helping us get promotion. But we also had to do our fair share of it and beat Braga, who had to win for their own reasons. On the insistence of the assistant manager, I held a team meeting next. He said the players should know how important this game is towards our quest for promotion. That's what I said. It angered every single last one of them and morale has dropped. The morale has hit the bottom at the crucial time of the season. Would it affect our play on the pitch? Let's go and find out. It didn't seem like the negative team meeting had a bad effect on the players because we got off to a great start. Lima found Ring, who found the back of the net. It was 1-0 inside 36 seconds. But Braga were fighting for their lives and weren't going to let us just run away with it. Pontus Karlsson, a deflected shot, ended up going past Jolson and it was 1-1. Aqua found Lima, who found Kahed, and his deflected shot went past Bernardini in the Braga goal, and we had restored our lead. It was 2-1. And then Vagic in the second half, a fantastic free kick. It was 3-1, and we were cruising. But, like I said, Braga were fighting for their lives, and Karlsson found the back of the net to make it 3-2. They then missed a penalty with Jolson saving from Braga's spot kick. And then we had the chance to walk away with it. And Lima found the back of the net after an Aqua run. After one of their players actually went down injured and was calling for help. It was a little bit of unfair sportsmanship, but never mind, it was a goal. And then Aqua found Landskrona, who found the goal, scored his first goal of the season. We won the game 5-2. And now, all we had to do was see how Sundsvall got on. Because if they lost to our rivals Landskrona, we were promoted. And it was promotion secured. Sundsvall fell to a 4-0 defeat away to our rivals Landskrona. Kofi Asari with all 4 goals, 3 of them from the penalty spot. Didn't matter how they were scored, all that mattered is that they were. And now we've been promoted to the top flight of Swedish football in Magnus Olsson's first year in management. The players must have partied a little bit too hard in celebrating the promotion because we lost our final game of the season 3-1 to Orgrite, but it didn't matter because the final table looked like this. We had secured an unlikely promotion. 56 points from our 30 games meant we finished second place. The board only wanted to finish top half. We exceeded that by a lot. Although we were a mile behind our rivals Landskrona, who walked away with the league title with 74 points. That was an 18-point gap above us after only 30 games, which is quite impressive. Vesteras secured the playoff place in third place. Eskilstuna and Örebro would be relegated, and John Köpings and Utsiktons would have to play playoffs to see if they would go down as well. Right, so now the hard work starts. We now have to build a team capable of staying in the top flight and then pushing on and challenging for titles and cups, etc., etc. Actually, talking about the cup, Does anyone know how the Swedish Cup works? Because I don't. We've played the second round. We won 4-1. We've gone through to the next round, but I've heard nothing about it since. There's been no cup draws. There's been no nothing. So I'm not quite sure what happens with the Swedish Cup. I'm sure someone will tell me at some point. I'm hoping that we play another round. We don't just play one round, win, and then it's like, sorry, you've been drawn out of the tournament or something. I don't know how it works unless it carries over across 2 seasons, because we've reached the end of the league season. So I'm not quite sure how it works. But anyway, this save isn't just about Helsingborg. This is about building Sweden as a nation. So let's go and have a look at the rest of the season in the rest of Sweden, and also have a quick look at how the national team are doing. So the Swedish top flight ended like this. Malmö are the champions, Häcken are second, Halmstad are third. Malmö winning by just a single point from Häcken in second. Häcken, who were the reigning champions, will have to settle for a place in the Conference League qualifiers, as will Halmstad's. Norrköping miss out in 4th place. Kalmar and Varbergs are the teams relegated to make room for Landskrona and Helsingborgs. And Västerås take on IK Sirius for the final remaining place in next season's Allsvenskan. As for Swedish clubs in Europe, Häcken were in the Champions League Champions Path 3rd qualifying round, where they lost 4-1 on aggregate to FC Copenhagen, which meant they dropped down into the Europa League. In the Europa League, they played a playoff against Shamrock Rovers, where they won 4-2 on aggregate, and that meant they were through to the group stage. And as you can see, they're not fared too well so far. They're 4th in their group, in Group A, with Rennes, Sturm Graz and West Ham. Rennes have already qualified for the next round. Häcken have only won 1 game from their 4. Obviously, the way the Swedish league works is it works from like April through till November, whereas the rest of Europe goes from August to May. So if you do well in Europe, you could probably cross over, like you will cross over across 2 seasons, from one season of that you've qualified in the league, and then you play in the Champions League the next season. Obviously, you could compete in 2 different seasons of the Champions League or in Europe itself in the same season of Swedish football if you do well in Europe, which one day I'm hoping to with Helsingborg. But as it stands, Häcken may have finished their domestic league season, but they haven't finished in Europe just yet. Although the way it looks, it's not going to be much longer before it's all over for them. The other 2 teams in European competition were Djurgårdens, who got knocked out of the 2nd qualifying round of the league path of the Conference League to Bohemians of Prague, and Hammarby, who fared slightly better by reaching the 4th qualifying round of the league path, but they lost 4-0 on aggregate to AZ Alkmaar. And that was all she wrote for the Swedish teams in European competition. But as for the national team, they're doing quite well. A victory over Belgium started off 2023 in March for them, 3-2, with Victor Gyokeres scoring 2 and Victor Claesson. Then they beat Azerbaijan 3-0, then a draw with Estonia, victories over Austria and Azerbaijan, defeat to Belgium, and then another victory, 3-0 over Estonia. They play their final Euro qualifier game against Austria on the 21st of November, but they've already qualified. If you look at Group F of Euro Championship qualifying, Sweden currently sit top of the table, 7 games played, 16 points. They are ahead of Belgium by a point, although Belgium have got a game in hand. Austria, Estonia and Azerbaijan are out of it, so Sweden have qualified for a major competition next summer. Right, so the Swedish national team are doing alright. Nothing to do with me really, but they're doing alright. Swedish teams in Europe, not so good. But that is the point of this save. We're here to build Sweden into a nation to be reckoned with in the future. And it's not just going to happen overnight. We've been here 1 season. We've had a successful season. And we've achieved the first goal of this save. That is to get a 2nd tier team into the top flight. So we've achieved that in 1 season. Hopefully we can continue to achieve what we're setting out to do as we go. And eventually build Sweden into a nation to be reckoned with. But like I said, it's not just going to happen overnight. It's going to be a long, long road ahead, and hopefully you will continue to join me for it. And I just want to say thank you to anyone who watched the first couple of episodes of this series and who's liked and commented, and new subscribers to the channel and stuff. The channel has seen so much growth since the first episode of this series. It's unbelievable. It's shocked me, to be fair. And I want to say thank you to every single one of you. The views, the likes, the comments, the new subscribers and everything. I am eternally grateful to every one of you from the bottom of my heart, and hopefully you will continue to enjoy my content and to join me for the road ahead. If you did enjoy this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell to know when future videos are going to be released, and hopefully you will continue to join me. Just before I go, I found out what happens in the Swedish Cup, and we start next season by playing this season's Swedish Cup. We've played the second round. The next round is in February. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to football. We start next season with this season's cup. I can't work it out. I really, really can't. But anyway, that's how it works. That's exactly how they do it in real life because they've replicated it in the game. So I don't know who came up with that idea, but whoever it was, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you'll join me again next time. Until then, bye-bye for now.